Hi there, hopefully we are live. Sorry about that, a couple of technical errors going on there, which sort of goes through with the problems that we had over the weekend. I'm really sorry about the lack of communication about changes to the website, etc. Obviously we've been excited about the new site coming and completely and utterly overlooked the fact that we'd have to shut things down to get things changed, and really you should have been known about that a long time before, so I'm so sorry about that. And not only that, we closed it down to get the changes down and didn't succeed in completely changing it. However, we are hopeful that we only need another sort of hour or so to do it, so we will tell you when that happens, and hopefully it will come. So what have we got? Well, we are sacrificing. We are sacrificing this month, which is quite exciting because it's a great topic, isn't it? I love bidding on fewer points than I should be, and of course that's what sacrificing is all about. It's sort of outbidding your opponents when you don't expect to make a contract, so that's good fun. And in many ways the topic on Fridays is slightly linked to that, where we open light in third seat sometimes. So third seat openings is what we're talking about on Fridays, and it will often lead to some sacrifices, but also to hopefully leads and things like that. So we've been doing that for a couple of weeks. We're carrying on. If you do fancy that, I think that's the special offer this week. Yes, the special offer this week is the 11th of November, as John quite correctly pointed out, so that will get changed, but it's the 11th of November, and if you fancy that. So we're live all week this week, Monday, Wednesday and Friday, all the normal days, so sorry for the various changes. Got a couple more changes, so next week there's a slight, I think, change because I'm away one more time. I think I've got 2 events before Christmas, and then of course Christmas comes and I got events then, well, Christmas, New Year, Twixmas, all sorts, so do look out for those. We'll have our bidding quiz, we'll have the little evaluation or point count test, which actually is going to be revolving around third hand bidding as well, actually, which is quite interesting, and we'll look at that in a moment. So yes, hopefully we will have a new website soon, and it is exciting, and for whether you're a member or not a member, it is definitely going to be good, and we shall see. So what else is there? Mr. Budge is retiring, as you know. He does still have his diaries though. He does still have his diaries, the Mr. Budge Diary 2023. So if you are after one of those, you can get those at mrbudge.co.uk. Okay, so do bear that in mind. The luxury sort of Kidrell leather, mock leather, very nice diaries indeed. They have the Bernard Magee Summary of Alcohol as well. Well, what can I say? A wonderful thing. And even if you just want that, you get a few hints and things like that. Okay, I think we'll have a little look at this, which is what we do first. So here we are. This is the little Q plus hand that we look at. Let's have a look at the bidding. You start the bidding as West. You are vulnerable. And it goes pass from you, pass from North, 1 spade, 1 no trump overcall from South. Again, you pass, you got 6 points, but there's nothing to say. 3 no trumps from North. And then it goes pass, pass, pass. Okay. So first and foremost, assuming you've got competent opponents, something's odd here. Because they bid to 3 no trumps, you're expecting them to have 25 points. You've got 6. That only leaves 11 points. So Sorry, that only leaves 9 points, I should say. So that feels a bit odd already. But your partner's third in hand, so there's flexibility there. But the most important thing is if your partner is choosing to open one spade, vulnerable, I'm leading a spade. So we put the 5 of spades down, and of course your job here is to assess how many points your partner has. Remember, he's opened 1 spade. Going pass, pass, 1 spade, 1 no trump, 3 no trumps. And your job is to assess your partner's hand. Okay? So we will come back to that after the seminar. Okay, so just again, a reminder of the auction there. Pass, pass, 1 spade from your partner, 1 no trump from south, 3 no trumps from north. Okay. So, as I say, we'll come back to that hand where you are assessing the strength of your partner's hand. And what we're going to look at now is the seminar. And we look at sacrificing. Okay, so let's do that now. Boom! Wow, straight on there. So, what we're going to talk about today, this month, is sacrificing. So I will just quickly put up a few slides that I have at the start of the seminar. And those are, obviously we need to know what a sacrifice is. Well, it is going down in a contract in order to give away fewer points than your opponent's making contract. So a simple example, if they can make 4 hearts for 620, let's say we're all vulnerable. If we go 2 down doubled, that is a successful sacrifice. And what's interesting about sacrificing is that there's a very fine line between success and failure. Minus 500 is a good sacrifice against 620. Minus 800 is a bad one. Okay? Okay, so this is why I often say to people, you should get minus 800s relatively regularly, because every so often I'll just miscalculate. But hopefully if I get it right most of the time, I've got a good sacrifice. So bidding more is good. Okay. I'm glad you're responding to Elsie there, because if I respond to her, she won't know I'm on, so she won't get my answer. Okay. So, of course, what I always put up with these things is this table. It's such an important table. You don't have to know precisely what the scoring is, but because we use all these gadgets, whether it's the Brian app or it's a Bridgemate or whatever, we get out of the habit of remembering how the scoring works. Okay, so it is important, okay, it is important that we at least know this table. And what is this table? Well, I've got the vulnerabilities down the left, and their game is worth, and how many we can go down. So their game non-vulnerable is worth 420. How many can we go down non-vulnerable? We need our little table. So there you go. On the left-hand side are your non-vulnerable doubled under tricks. On the right-hand side, your doubled vulnerable under tricks. Now, what's important here is that this assumes you're getting doubled. You should get doubled. However, as we all know, if you bid confidently as a sacrifice, they won't always double you, in which case you can often go a long, long, long way off. Here, though, how many can you go down non-vulnerable? Of course, when you're equal vulnerability, as we're going to see, you can go 2 down. However, our favourite vulnerability, when they are vulnerable and we are not, that is when it gets exciting. Minus 620 if they make their game, we can afford to go 3 off. Now, as we will see, 4 spades outdoing 4 hearts. That means you only have to make 7 tricks, and you really don't need much strength to make 7 tricks. Change it round, when we are vulnerable and they are not, their game is only worth 420. And if we go 2 off doubled, that would be 500. So we can only afford to go 1 off, which, to be honest, means at that vulnerability, we very rarely sacrifice. We're usually bidding a contract, expecting to make it. And if it turns out both sides have a fit and we go down, maybe they'll make theirs, kind of thing. But you'll almost always be hoping to be close to making your contract. And game all is the same as love all. It's just at a higher level. So we can afford to go 2 down, clearly not 3 down. Okay, and getting used to that table is so important, and understanding what we call favourable vulnerability, what we call a green light, go bid more, because we can go a long way off, and unfavourable vulnerability, a red light when we are red and they are green, that means bid less. Okay, so important to understand the vulnerability, to make sure we're aware of the vulnerability on any given board. So just want you to see this, just to once again explain this idea. On this board, clearly every pair is making 4 spades plus 1. I know this isn't true to life, you get variety, but look at the 5 club bids. If you're playing north-south, your opponents can make 650. Number 9, pair 9, has made a successful sacrifice bid. They've lost 500 points going 3 off non-vulnerable. They get a complete top. They've lost 500 points. They've even gone 3 off in a contract, but they get 16 out of 16 match points, 100%. Pair 1 at the top got it wrong. They went an extra 1 off. Maybe the defence tried harder. And as defenders, it's so important to understand this. If you're defending against 5 clubs, 3 off might be a bottom. So you need to be greedy and go for 4. And what a difference that makes. Okay, so a bad sacrifice scores 0 and gets you a bottom. A good one gets 16. So it's a really high stakes thing. Now, hopefully, sometimes we'll be going 2 off and just losing 300, and it's clearer. Okay, but you'll see that if 4 out of 5 times you get it right, and once you get it wrong, that's brilliant percentages. It feels bad when you get a minus 800. However, if you're getting used to sacrificing more, every so often you've got to get it wrong. Maybe they do a bit of a cross swaff or whatever. Okay, so you've got to take gambles, and hopefully if you're getting it wrong regularly, you'll realise that you're not quite choosing the right hands to do it. Notice though, it's quite important to know, in inverted commas, that the opponent's contract is making. Because as a number of you are saying, it's a lovely feeling when you find a good sacrifice. But perhaps the worst feeling is when you're just about to say, what a wonderful sacrifice, and you realise that all of those scores from 2 to 8 are actually 4 spades minus 1 rather than 4 spades plus 1. Then it does not feel so good at all. Okay, here's an example from the seminar, and then I'll give you another example to set us off on this month of sacrificing. Absolutely, someone saying there, if you play against meek opponents, it's part of the game. But if you are playing against meek opponents, you will sometimes get away with these things because they won't double you, particularly when you bid confidently. Nice and simple hand here. Let's say your opponents open 1 heart, your partner overcalls 1 spade, and north bids at 2 diamonds. So it's your response to the 1 spade overcall. So 1 heart from south, 1 spade from your partner west, 2 diamonds. And to be honest, I'm not sure the vulnerability makes that much difference on this hand. Okay, but let's say north-south are vulnerable and you are not. But as I say, I think I would probably bid the same whatever the vulnerability here, because you've got a wonderful, wonderful shape. I love 5-5 hands. Okay, like this, when you find a fit. So just 4 points. Okay, but what you're saying here is when I've got support from my partner and I'm weak and distributional, I am going to bid to the level of my fit. Okay, it's not the ideal layout, I agree. This is just a quick example. Okay, so you're bidding to the level of your fit. What does that mean? We add our cards to our partner's card. Okay. John's quite rightly saying your opponents might not have a fit. They'll have a fit somewhere, and it'll probably be in the minor. And what's wonderful about that is that if you jump to 4 spades here, you're going to make it very difficult for them to find their fit. Remember, you've just got 4 points here. North has been a strong bid, 2 diamonds, by jumping to 4 spades here, you are barraging them and making it really difficult for them to find their fit. You're expecting to be doubled, but remember, you only need to make 7 tricks here for that to be a good score. Here, you know, you've got an 8 loser hand, that's all. I know it's only 4 points, but the potential is huge. Not only that, if your partner has some strength, do not be surprised that every so often you will make this contract. Give your partner the 5 spades he's promised, let's say ace queen to 5, and maybe the ace of diamonds, singleton heart, who knows? You may well be making 4 spades and possibly doubled. Okay, so bidding to the level of fit tends to work, and this is why. Let's look at the hand here. Here's the full hand. As I say, this is the one from the seminar. Relatively straightforward hand. You will make 9 tricks. So notice that 4 spades doubled is only costs 100 points. Okay, so it only costs 100 points. That's what's amazing here. So that's better than a part score. Okay, North-South can make 5 clubs or 5 diamonds, but it's not easy for them to bid it. You know, it's all well and good saying South could bid 5 clubs, but he's only got 4 clubs in his hand, and he hasn't really got much diamond support. And if the bidding goes back round to North, I have a feeling the most common thing they'll do is probably W and take it 1 off. So really tough for your opponents to find the right contract there. If you bid anything less than 4 spades, maybe South will bid his minor and they'll find a fit. But the point here is even if they don't find a fit, minus 100 is a better score than 3 diamonds plus 2 or 3 clubs plus 2. Okay, not only that, you might get your opponents to end up in 5 hearts, which would be rather pleasant, wouldn't it? Okay, because although they can make 5 of something, they certainly cannot make 5 hearts. Okay, so that is a classic sacrifice. It will often happen when you bid to the level of your fit, and I agree, game all, even vulnerable against not, I'll be bidding 4 spades with hands like that, because they're not always going to get things right. Even if 4 spades goes 2 off, you know, they may well have a slam on if it's going that far off, but the potential of your hand is huge. It could be horrible. Your partner might have a doubleton diamond and a doubleton heart, you know, and nothing outside. Notice if your partner has no high cards at all outside of the suits, your opponent should be making a slam. Okay, so if your partner had, I don't know, take the queen of diamonds away and put it in the heart suit, what are they going to lose? They're not losing any diamonds or clubs, and one of them will be short in hearts, of course, so they'll lose perhaps 1 spade. Okay, so it's good aggressive bidding. Let's look at another example. Okay, we're going to make North-South vulnerable again. 2 hearts from your partner. Okay, 2 hearts from your partner on this occasion, and it's a double from the opponent, and it's your bid. So hopefully this layout is a little bit more sensible. So 2 hearts is a weak 2 from your partner, double from your opponent. And what I want is you to think about where you're going on this hand. So I think at this vulnerability I'm going to bid 4 hearts because I want to make it most difficult for my opponents, because I want to, you know, because there's no doubt. The problem with 3 hearts is I think you're going to bid again. Why not make it more difficult for them? The chances are that South has enough spades that he's going to find it easy enough. But the key here is, what am I going to bid over 4 spades and making a plan? I don't think you could jump to 5 hearts straight away. This is always a tricky one. I'm probably going to bid 4 hearts, and if they find the right contract, I then might bid 5 hearts, and I think that's the key. So let's bid 4 hearts. Unfortunately, South does indeed bid 4 spades, and it comes back round to you. Now, I do not like bidding twice. However, given that the opponents hadn't bid a suit, I thought 4 hearts was a reasonable effort. At this point, I know they have a 9-card fit, and this is one of the reasons it's really crucial that you don't open 2 hearts with a side suit 4-card major. It's not just because of the great potential of your hand, it's because your partner might need to know. So I know my partner will not have 4 spades for his 2-heart opening here. In which case, I know the opponents have a 9-card fit. Surely they're making 4 spades. Is that not unreasonable? I would have thought that they're making 4 spades 98% of the time here. I guess if the hearts break 2-2, okay, and your partner has a singleton diamond, you might get it off. Okay, but surely most of the time they are making 4 spades. Okay, someone asking why not bid diamonds? Well, of course, you've got a 9-card heart fit. Remember, it's your partner who's opened a weak 2 and you're responding. Okay, so the question is, do you bid 5 hearts or not? I think it's a reasonable option. You don't have to bid these bids. Why would you bid 5 hearts? You're hoping to make 8 tricks. Surely the chances are you're going to make 8 tricks. All you need to get now, remember, this depends on your style. Some of you will see my kind of opening bids and I might open too weak for you here. Okay, but if your partner has only in his hand ace, queen, jack to 6 hearts and nothing else, well then you're making 6 heart tricks, the ace of diamonds, 1 spade rough is enough. So it is possible they might stop you getting a spade rough. Maybe they lead a heart, try and lead a heart again, but I think surely you're going to get 1 spade rough, and that's all you need. 5 hearts doubled minus 3 beats 4 spades. So I think it's a reasonable option. You don't have to bid these things, but of course, let's have a look. So here's the hand. And it turns out your partner has got a singleton diamond. Okay. Okay. So if you... so I suppose if you let out the ace of diamonds against 4 spades, you could get a diamond rough, heart back, but unfortunately South has got a doubleton diamond and can rough the 3rd round of diamonds. So you can't defeat 4 spades here. How are you going to do in 5 hearts? Well, 4 spades, as I say, should only probably, I think, make 10 tricks. Your partner, you're going to probably surely lead a heart. Your partner will win it and probably switch to the diamond. So I think you can defeat it. And what's beautiful about 5 hearts, and this is what's crucial here, is that you've got 3 things that can happen. 5 hearts might be wrong. It might get doubled and go for 800, etc. But more likely it's going to be a good sacrifice, or even better is 5 spades minus 1 by north-south. And that is the favourite feeling of all. So you could end up, instead of minus 620 on this board, you could end up with plus 100. Can you see that? You're not going to double it, of course. You don't expect it to go down. But you can see North's hand. So just a reminder of the auction here. The auction's gone 2 hearts, double from North, normal, 4 hearts, 4 spades from South, pass 5 hearts. I think a lot of you Norths might try 5 spades there. Can you see that? And we might end up with plus 100. Okay, you can see that I've put east-west to making 8 or 9 tricks. What do I mean by that? What do I mean by that? Well, what I mean by that is that to keep us to 8 tricks, I think North has to lead a trump. And then South has to win the spade trick and lead another trump. Can you see that? Okay, so I think North has to lead a trump against 4 spades, 4 hearts, 5 hearts doubled, sorry. And that's not easy. I think a lot of people might lead the ace of spades, and now I think we can take 2 spade roughs in the east hand. Lovely jubbly. That is 9 tricks and just 300. So it's a big gain, 320-point gain. Okay, but as I say, I think the best gain you're going to get here is if North bids on to 5 spades. And if he does, you gain 720 points. That's one of those beautiful hands in a team's game where one of you gets plus 100 and the other one's got plus 620 at the other table. Okay, so there's a lot of lovely things that can happen here. So I hope you like that one. That's another example. I want you to send in your examples. These things are exciting hands. Any of you who ever pick up the sheets that you get at the end of a duplicate, or perhaps look online, look at how many tricks you can make. And quite often you get these flat boards where 4 spades is making +1 or +2. Every so often you'll see on the little grey box that you see on the piece of paper, it'll say, oh, you can make, the opposition could have made, I don't know, 8 tricks in clubs. But nobody's in 5 clubs. But it turns out that had the opposition got to 5 clubs doubled -3, they would have ended up with the top. And there's a surprising number of hands where you can make sacrifices. It's worth experimenting, going for it. Okay, and in the long run, if you're getting -800 too often, well, then you might have to temper yourself. But give it a go, it's good fun, and you will get some wonderful scores out of it. You'll also have a shocked partner if you're doing it by yourself. This is a partnership game, don't forget. So have a chat with your partner and say, look, let's try and bid a bit more this month. Let's try and find sacrifices when they're there and see how we get on. Okay, so that is the topic of the month. And as I say, I think we could have a nice bit of fun with it. So let's hope so. What are we doing on holidays front? I'm off to Cornwall at the end of the month. So if you fancy that, there's still room. Okay, so that is an event which includes some tours to Bodmin Jail, the Eden Project, etc. So and gin tasting if you fancy that. So do join us for that. Look into that. You have to phone Cornwall Discovered for that. That's run by a nice company down in Cornwall for us, and we have some fun. So do think about that. And of course, we've got plenty of other events in the UK as well. And abroad, we're going to Croatia next year. I'm going for the first week there, from the 2nd to the 9th, but 2 weeks gives you a better deal. And as Alan says, a good point about, we did mention that before with Lanhydrock, you have that option of coming with your partner to the Cornwall one, and if they do not behave themselves at the bridge table, we can send them to Bodmin Jail. So that's absolutely true. We give that option. So do look on the website, the BMB Holidays. You can find all sorts there, whether it's a Christmas or New Year break, and we love your ideas for holidays as well. So do keep those ideas coming in. Venues in the UK, please. We need venues up in the north. I'm really keen to find venues. I know I keep promising those of you from further north, and I will get there, but we are trying to find the right hotel. We have Mark working hard on that, and he's been sending emails left, right and centre, but we're not quite finding the connection yet. But we will get there, and we will see you soon, I hope. Okay, let's go back to the Q+ hand then, and let's remind ourselves of what happened. West passed. We were West. We passed as opener. It's vulnerable. We're vulnerable. They're not. So when pass, your partner opened a spade, then 1 no trump from south, 3 no trumps from north. So you were a little bit surprised by the auction because they've bid to 3 no trumps. You expect them to have 25 points. You've got 6, which is 31, which only really leaves 9 points for your partner. However, your partner is third in hand. He has a little bit more flexibility. So, it is possible that South's made a mistake and has maybe bid on a hand that is not as strong as he should have done. So that's a possibility. But I would say your partner's vulnerable, so I wouldn't expect. So, I saw a few of you saying 7 to 9 points. I wouldn't expect my partner to open light in this at this vulnerability with 7. So the key here is, though, I'm expecting my partner to have good spades, because whenever you open light because you have a good spades. Okay. Again, vulnerable against not. You're not going to be opening many 5-5 hands here with a 9 count. Any less than 9 points here. So, but the key is partner should only open light with a good suit, and that's why we've led the 5 of spades. So there's not a huge amount to the hand, but just you know, trying to assess. I mean, let's look at, well, if we open the hand, because there's not much to it really. Here is the hand. So it went pass, and east. You don't have to open on the east hand. It's, you know, and I'm sure most of you would pass, but you can see what east is thinking. East has got clearly just an 8 count, but he's regarding it as a 9th count. Okay, and what he's doing here is thinking, well, partner can't punish me. Partner has less than an opening hand. So 3rd in hand, I feel I can open 1 spade here because partner will not bid high, and I can pass anything he bids. So if partner bids 2 clubs, I can pass it. Remember, it's non-forcing if the first hand was a passed hand. So West has already passed. We had already passed. Okay. The problem with opening 2 spades with hands like this, okay, the problem with opening 2 spades with hands like this is that you're vulnerable against not. And you may find you give 200 away when they can't make anything. Notice it's not easy for your opponents to make a game here. So giving 200 points away would get you a bad score on this bid. Okay. Someone's saying bad bidding. Interesting description. It works here because we found the right lead. Okay, and that's exactly why East has bid 1 spade. Okay, East has opened 1 spade because he knows what the correct lead is against any contract. Notice that if East passes, which most of you would, South will open 1 spade. So the auction will go 1 spade, 2 diamonds, 2 no trumps, 3 no trumps. Okay, and anybody who opens who leads a 5 of spades on that auction is going to do well. Is going to do very well indeed, because clearly South will have bid them. Okay, so it's a clever bid, 1 spade. It will go wrong, so that's important. So don't think it always wins, and when I open light on 3rd hand it always wins. It certainly doesn't. If it goes 1 spade from you and West has a different type of hand and responds 2 diamonds, you are going to find yourself in an ugly mess. Okay. However, I would pass 2 diamonds. That would be the plan, and hopefully it won't work out too badly. Okay, but I prefer to be non-vulnerable. I will admit that with the East hand there. Okay, I prefer that. But the key is look at the strength of the spades. Is everybody happy with the correct play? It's really important this. Of course, the correct play is to play the 9 at trick 1. East knows jolly well that South has a stopper, and the important thing is to try to make him taking it trick 1. Now, he doesn't have to take it at trick 1, okay? And if he doesn't, he breaks our communication, okay? But we're hopeful if we can make enough tricks elsewhere. I think Declarer might scrape home here though, okay? As long as he ducks that first spade. Can you see that? He might just scrape home. He'll make 4 diamonds, 3 hearts, a couple of clubs. So I think he can make 9 tricks. However, some declarers will think, oh, I better win that. And if he does win it, of course, then West will get. Don't forget, declarers placing East with the points, so he's hopeful that the diamond finesse will work and things like that. Can you see? But West will win that and be able to lead a spade. So declarer can scup you, just to show you that again. On the spade lead, South would need to duck that, which is a clever play, but that breaks the communications now. Best defence for East would be to switch at this point, but I think de Clow has just about got enough time. Let's say you try a club switch, de Clow can win that, and he would just play the diamonds off, okay, hoping to make 7 tricks, okay. So the ace of diamonds and just knocking out the king, okay. And he just scrapes home, doesn't he? Okay, because we might play a spade now, but I'm afraid to say de Clow has got his 9 tricks at this point, so we might as well take ours and give in. Okay, because de Clow can leap up with his king, and clearly dummy is high. Okay, so that would have been good de Clow, but we'll just get to the end of that. Clever de Clow play, but the key is we need that lead. Okay, we need that spade lead, don't we? Because otherwise, for example, if you lead a diamond, okay, and I don't think you're going to find a spade switch anyway. So on a diamond switch, I don't think you're going to find a spade switch. So de Clow has no troubles, and he might even make an over trick. Okay, because I'm not sure how easy it's going to be to find it for West ever to find a spade switch with South having bid the suit. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that. We'll have a look at the bidding quiz before we go, so let's have a look. So this is the bidding quiz I leave you with, of course, and it's 1 spade which you double because you're so strong. Okay, so it goes 1 spade, you double for, ostensibly of course for takeout, but when you've got such a strong hand you've got no choice really. Those of you who can't be bothered, it's a 20 count. So with 20 points you feel you've got to start with a double. Your partner responds 2 clubs to that double. South passes and you've got to bid. Okay, so it's your response to your partner's 2 club bid there. Okay, so you started with a double, your partner bid 2 clubs, and now it's your bid again. So don't forget, you can see that answer on our site. Okay, as I say, so good luck with that. Hope that goes well. I've got the beginners little topic coming up now. Just a reminder, we will have our new site up soon. We will warn you if we need to go down again. It won't be for anywhere near the length of time it was before, and we'll try to make sure it's not at a popular time. But once again, I'm so sorry that we didn't give you forewarning of the closure over the weekend there. So have some fun this week. I'll see some of you on Wednesday, and hopefully some of you on Friday. Don't forget, we are 3rd in hand, and I can't remind you enough, I love to have your hands. 3rd in hand openings and sacrificing this week, this month, because I'll look at some of those hands towards the end. So thanks very much. Hope you enjoyed the sacrifice of Guy Fawkes over the weekend, and we'll sacrifice a few others throughout the month. And let's go to the beginners. Oh, I've gone a bit too far, so I'm going to go back there. So in the beginners this week, we are dealing with what we dealt with last week. So last week, we were the opening bidder, jumping to show our strength. So we opened 1 heart and jumped to 3 hearts. What do you do when that happens? So when you are the responder, how do you deal with it? So let's just remind ourselves first of all what it means. So the opening bidder bids 1 heart, then let's say we respond 1 spade, they just jump to 3 hearts. So they've wasted a level of the bidding. That's what the jump means. So 1 heart, 1 spade, 2 hearts is just saying, partner, I like hearts, I'm not particularly strong. Remember, the opening bidder's got to have 12 points, but 12 to 14 points, something like that. The jump to 3 hearts says, partner, I'm strong and long. 16 plus points and 6 or more hearts, partner. So you decide, and that's exactly what we're going to do today. As a responder, we have to assess whether we've got the strength for a game. Well, add our points to 16 or 17. And we try to choose the best denomination, remembering that partner has shown 6 hearts. Okay, so let's look. You got 10 points on this one. It goes 1 heart. You respond at 1 spade, just a natural bid showing your longest suit. 3 hearts from your partner. So what are you thinking? Hopefully you're placing partner with 16 or more points, so that gives you 26. So you're going to go for game. Which game would you go for? Your partner's got 6 hearts. You've got 2, that's 8. And if you remember back to mini bridge, what we said was if you've got a nice 8 card major fit, go for it. 4 hearts. And there you go. Isn't that lovely? A lovely heart fit. I know your partner's got most of them. You've got 2 nice ones. And it means you don't have to worry about clubs, remember. Because hearts are trumps, your opponents can only take the ace and king. After that, your partner can start roughing them. So, and I hope you can see that you've got the other cards covered. Let's look at a different one. Notice I've taken a high card away from your hand now. Isn't that miserable? So it goes 1 heart again. You've just got 6 points. So you bid 1 spade because we respond if we've got 6 or more points. 3 hearts from your partner. What do you think? Well, I don't think you can go for game. You're only looking at 22, 23 points. So remember, partner might have 17, 18, maybe. But with 19, he'd try to show something stronger. So here, I think you've got to give in, and you're happy in hearts. So you just pass. You've guessed what partner's hand is, haven't you? Okay, there it is. It's not a bad game. But if that king of diamonds loses to the ace, I think you're going to lose most of the time 4 tricks. So you'd prefer just to settle in your little part score there. Just 22 points between you. Okay. Okay, how about this one? Again, you're weak. Just 6 points. It goes 1 heart, 1 spade, and your partner jumps to 3 hearts. Now, this is a little bit more difficult. This takes us back to responding some time ago in the early days of learning about bidding, where 1 heart, when the opening bidder makes 2 bids, it's generally the responder's job to give in. You tend to let your partner win the auction if you're very weak. So here you are weak. Your partner's shown 6 or more hearts. I know you've only got 1, but I think you're better off letting your partner have the contract. Obviously you're not going to go for game, you've just got 6 points. But you don't want to be bidding 3 spades here, because remember, if you've got a singleton in your partner's suit, he'll often have a singleton in yours, and you've only got 5 spades where your partner's got 6 hearts. So let your partner win the auction, just pass. You're not best pleased. Maybe there is a better contract, but when you're very weak, you often just have to settle, shall we say, for the best of a bad job. Okay. The more points you have, the more you can bid more precisely. The weaker you are, sometimes you can only really afford to make 1 bid. So here, you've given in to 3 hearts. It's not the perfect contract. But to be honest, what is the perfect contract? Can you see? It's a bit messy, isn't it? You certainly wouldn't want to be in 3 no trumps. So in a way, given a choice, you'd love to play in 2 hearts. But your partner's made a beautiful descriptive bid. It has maybe taken us out of our comfort zone, but I think it's important that we describe our hands accurately. Okay, let's look at one more. You've got 11 points this time. 1 heart, again 1 spade, neat response, showing you 4 spades. Jump to 3 hearts. What do you think this time? Well, this time, of course, you're not weak. If your partner's got 16 and you've got 11, you've got plenty for game. And because of this, you can try to decide the best denomination. You've got cover in all of the suits. You don't really like hearts. Surely the most practical bid here is 3 no trumps. Partner, I know we've got enough for game, but we haven't got a heart fit, so I think we should try 3 no trumps. Is that okay? And your partner would pass there. Okay. And can you see you've got lots of high cards in all of the suits, so I think 3 no trumps is sensible, and hopefully your partner might be able to establish his heart suit. Okay. You don't really need those hearts or ruffing, and that's the key. Okay, this is the last one we'll look at, so we're looking at quite a few. But most of this, I hope, is using your logic. If you've got the points for game, keep chatting. If you haven't, stop quickly. So here's another example about that. 1 heart, you respond 1 spade, you don't jump or do anything like that, just a normal response. Then jump to 3 hearts from your partner. Now we saw when we were weak, we had to give in to partner. However, when we're strong like this, 11 points, we can carry on bidding and keep discussing to find the best contract. So 3 hearts, you know we want to be in game. 11 points and 16 is 27, so we're going to go for game. We might want to play in spades rather than hearts or no trumps. So I think the most practical bid here is 3 spades. Carry on chatting. Your partner would expect you to have at least 6 spades for that bid. And if he likes spades, he could support them. Let's have a look. Oh. So you can see his hand. What would he bid? Well, you can see what I've bid already at the bottom. With 2 spades, he would support your spades. So instead of playing in hearts, although from West's point of view, hearts looks the best, spades turns out to be our best suit. You can see the difficulty of bidding though. Playing mini bridge where you can see both hands before you select the contract, here it's comfortable. You've got 8 spades, you would choose 4 spades. In the bidding, it's that little bit more tricky because you can't see each other's hands. You've got to make an attempt to describe your hand to your partner. Okay, so when you know game is on, of course, you can chat as much as you want. When you are weak, you have to stop quite quickly. Here, 11 points opposite 16 promised by our partner allows us to keep the conversation going and find the best contract of 4 spades. So some interesting concepts there. Okay, we were dealing with the opening bidder showing a strong hand and the responder then either giving in with a weak hand or trying to find the best denomination with a strong enough hand to know that game is on. I hope you enjoyed that, and we'll see you again soon. Have a nice week, and we'll see you next Monday. Thank you.